Hi, my name is Dr. Josh Omandi. Today we are going to discuss about our series on African leadership and how ethnic balance affects leadership in Africa. One thing we have to know about Africa is made of so many ethnic groups, more especially in sub-Saharan Africa. There are more than 2,000 ethnic groups which live in sub-Saharan Africa. Unlike Europe, where you find that a nation consists of only one ethnic tribe, in Africa, there are so many ethnic tribes, whereby a leader would be gauged in how he balances this ethnic leadership. Now, we are looking at two countries, country of Ivory Coast, or Cote d'Ivoire, and Uganda. In Cote d'Ivoire, more than 3 decades after this independence from France, Ivory Coast was very successful with a well-developed economy, and it had what we call the richest and ethnic harmony. And what was the secret behind this? Actually, with this well-developed economy after independence and the stability, that's what we call Ivorian miracle. And this Ivorian miracle was embedded in the founder presidents, Houphouët-Boigny, who actually did not have biasness in ethnicity or favoring his people from his tribe against the other. He was a free person. Even he allowed foreigners like Nigerians, Burkina Faso, those who were coming in because of good economy, they came, they worked hard, and they increased the output of coffee production, palm oil, pineapples, and so many things. Ivory Coast actually became, by 1979, it was one of the largest coffee producing area. Even he allowed so many French people, and like other countries, which had gained independence from French, where they threw the French people out, but he allowed more French people to come in Ivory Coast. There was relative peace in 30 years that Boigny was a president, and Ivory Coast had it was a more peaceful and friendly country. That even people who come from outside, they wanted them to become Ivorian nationals, and they would appoint them to positions of leadership in administration and all the tribes. And there was stability. Now, it came down now after Boigny died in 1993. When he died in 1993, his president, Henry Konan Pedy, succeeded him in 1993. What did he do? He reversed everything Boigny had done. He became a tribalist. And in fact, even instituted now a policy of Ivorite. He wanted only Ivorian, those who have both Ivorian parents, to go for positions of power, to be nominated. Actually, because when he was running for this, there was a man from the northern, Alassane Ouattara, who was a prime minister during Boigny's time, was his competitor. So he allowed this idea whereby he excluded him because he had two northern Ivorian parents who were thought to have migrated from Burkina Faso. So this idea of Ivorite, the concept of Ivorite, which Betty read, actually made now, as people originating from foreign countries are a large part of Ivorian population, this policy to many people from Ivorian nationality, and the relationship between various ethnic groups became strained, which resulted in a civil war in the following decade. Bedi was overthrown in 1999. And then after that, there was an election in the year 2000, where Laurent Gbagbo was elected president. Either he did not resign the things Bede was doing. He continued it outright, the son of the soil. This brought in a civil war. This civil war actually started from 2002. It went on. They had to postpone election because the civil war was split the country into Muslim rebels held in the north and the Christians to the south, which actually never happened during Bonyi's time. So they tried a truce in 2007. They agreed to Bagbo and the rebel leader Soro of the new forces signed an agreement to end the crisis. So the long delayed election was done in the year 2010. Election Commission declares Alassane Ouattara the winner of the run-up. Mr. Bagbo refuses to quit. Then he started a post-election violence, which left 3,000 people dead and 500 displaced. What an absurd. Just see, balancing the tunic and what it cost the people. Alassane Ouattara had to be sworn in and Bagbo was taken to Hague. But then, even up to now, still there is no peace in Ivory Coast. And that's where you can see what the decision of leaders can make to balance ethnic tribe can cause. So you have seen the two leaders in the same country doing different things and see what happened. Let's fast forward to East Africa, to the country of Uganda, with the capital in Kampala with 35 million people. Well, the language spoken there is English, Swahili, Uganda, and various Bantu and Nilotic languages. Majorly here, we have Christians and Muslims. Uganda borders Kenya to the east, South Sudan to the north, Democratic Republic of Congo to the west, and the South Tanzania and Rwanda. Now, Uganda has a timeline. It became a British colony, and in 1962, Uganda got independence. And at independence, there was a federalist constitution with Mutesa, King of Uganda, as the president and Milton Obote as prime minister. Now, what Milton Obote did, Milton Obote was from the north. So Milton Obote ends, and he did not like where the king from Uganda was the one president. And so in 1966, Milton Obote ends Uganda's autonomy and promotes him to the presidency. Actually, it was like a coup he did. In 1960, he set up a new constitution, vesting considerable power in the president. So, Milton Obote uses power in a coup and abolishes Uganda's tribal kingdoms. Actually, he fought Mutesa, a war he had to get the military people, and he was using Idi Amin that will later overthrew him. Because he wanted to be a dictator, he had put many people in the army from the north and the Karamuchongo area. They were everywhere, and he was only getting advice from the people of the northern part of Uganda, where he came from. So he looked at the people from the south who were mainly Bantu, the Buganda and others, as enemies. So the same man he was using to fight the King Mutesa, Idi Amin, he's used the power. He overthrew him in 1971, and actually during his reign, thousands of people died during his rule. In 1972, Amin expels the thousands of Ugandan Asians. He wanted them to leave Uganda, so they had to leave their business. 1978, Uganda invaded Tanzania, but Tanzania retaliates, forcing Amin to flee after a long protracted war. Now, this is the same man made wrong decisions. Instead, he had an opportunity to unite the country. He started favoring his people. He was looking down upon other people from other constituencies like Bingra. He put many politicians jail. What an absurd. You can see this. Now, after Idi Amin was overthrown, there was a formation of a National Consultative Council in Moshi, where they met with those Ugandans who had run away in the diaspora, and then they formed a government. They came back, and there were military people and others. Then they appointed Professor Rure to become the president. But when Rure could not survive, he stayed on power for 60 days and he was overthrown. Then Ibn Isa came in for a short time. There was an election which was disputed, and then they put Milton Obote back to power. But it was deposed in a military coup again. He came with the same bad habits. Milton Obote was again kicked out of office with a military coup. And in 1986, rebel leader Yoweri Museveni uses power, heralding a period of stability and improved human rights for a short time. He was hailed as a savior in Uganda. Of course, he brought stability in Uganda and improved human rights. But you know, as they already had the Kiswahili saying that Mugema akispiwa tembo litia maji na alilitia maji kabisa. And now he turned from a savior as a Democrat to a dictator. Now in 1995, a new constitution regulates political parties but maintains ban on political activity. 205 referendum endorses multi-party politics but leaves presidential term limits. And the 208 crackdown of Lord's Resistance Army forces rebels to retreat from Uganda. So Uganda has not had that for a long time. But basically what I wanted to talk about is not just the history of Uganda, but I've compared these leaders. What Milton Obote failed is that the tribal nature of Ugandan politics was also manifesting itself in the government. Because his political party, UPC, which had previously been a national party, began to break along tribal lines when Ibingira challenged Obote in the UPC. Ibingira was from Uganda. So it caused the north-south ethnic divide that had been evident in economic and social spheres, now entrenched itself in politics. Obote was surrounded with northern politicians, just as Nikon, Felix Onama, Alex Ojera. While now Ibingira, supporters who were subsequently arrested and jailed with him were many from south, like Magezi, Kiria, Matias, Ngovi. In time, the two factions acquired ethnic labels: the Bantu, mainly the southern Ibingira faction, and the Nilotic, mainly the northern Obote faction. The perception that the government was at war with the Bantu was further enhanced when Obote arrested and imprisoned the main Bantu ministers who backed Ibingira. So it is so dangerous that to be truly an effective leader in Africa, one has to know how to balance the ethnic tribe. You have to be seen to walk the talk. If it's political appointment, do it equitably. If it is the allocation of resources, do the equitable distribution of resources to all regions, even those ones which you never voted for you, but now you are the president. When you are making your appointment to the government, don't just skew. And if we go to many leaders in Africa, that's what they do. They only want their own people. That is the greatest mistake people make. So to be truly an effective African leader, you have to balance, you have to have ethnic balance in your appointment. That is what can make you be a successful person in leadership. Thank you.